morning, traders. I'm Dennis Dick.
And I'm Joel L. Conan. Welcome to Premarket Info.
Well, on today's show, Apple has become and reached the highest market cap ever. Is $700 really on the way? Peter Thiel dumps the majority of his Facebook holdings. Urban Outfitters beats and it's up 15%. But we can't say the same thing about Best Buy. It is getting the beats in the pre-market. And a look at the financials. Can this run in this sector continue?
Well, I just don't know where to start,
I
but
think we
let's
could start
start
with
with
Best.
best buy or best sell. As wrong as I was about Facebook at 38 and 32, I think you got to give me a little props here on my best buy call.
We'll give you a little bit of props there for sure. I am so glad. I had an investment Best Buy where I had a covered call. I've had it for the last 6 months or so, and I had a covered call written on it, and I was averaging around 23 on the stock. It got down obviously back here to 16, 17, but then with the pop up there on the whole rumors of Schultz going to take the company and buy 24 to 26, I actually got out at 21 and a half. I'm so glad I got out of that investment, Joel, at 21 and a half because this thing is at 16.44 this morning.
And going lower. I guess the only point, from your story or something that investors should take notice of is that when news comes out on stocks, and here's the news of a takeover, the stock shoots up, the whole world thinking, wow, 24, 26, I'm holding my stock. I mean, you took a real contrarian view there. You just, you had to do it very quickly. You processed the information and you just said, hey, I just don't think this is going to happen. And you used that opportunity to get out of the stock. So just investors, just a quick note, use the news, interpret it, if you can use it to your advantage to exit a position that you're not happy with, just don't always go with what they're advertising on the street.
Yeah, I mean they're saying 24 to 26. If you're holding out for that extra $3 or $4 there, the thing opened at 21 and a half that day. But if you're holding out, you probably just don't obviously get filled, and you're really underwater now. So it was obviously the street. When you see a stock and it's possibly going to get taken over 24 to 26 and it's trading at 21, it means there's some concerns that this deal might not go through. And we're not saying the deal can't go through here yet, but it sure looks worse every day. Would you want to pay 24 to 26 for a stock that's trading at 16?
It actually got to 23.50 in the pre-market that day, so it did get
Right.
near it, and then it stopped. Just want to alert our listeners to 16.40 is what we hit in the pre-market just a few moments ago. That's the low. Lo and behold, that coincides with the November 28th, November of 2008 low is 1642. I would use that as a swing number. Below that, going to $10.
Lights out. Well, today?
Nah, getting a little carried away.
Getting a little carried away. Stocks don't go straight to zero there, eh, Joel? Let's talk about something good. Apple. Wow. Yesterday on the show, I joked that, well, I said that this thing was going to go to 700 by the end of the year, and I joked at the rate it's going, it might get there by the end of the week. Man, that doesn't look like a joke anymore here. This thing rallied $15 yesterday, another $5 this morning. This thing could see 700 by the end of the week.
When you were talking about that, and it was 648 was a close on Friday, it was bumping around 650 in the pre-market, and I was almost ready to open up my big mouth and go 600 versus 700 for Labatt's
I
Life.
would have took you. I would have took you on that,
You would
Labatt.
have taken me on that, I know. And then I'm just like, why would I be able to call the top in this stock? I've called the top 97 times and it hasn't topped out. So why in the 98th time would I be right?
Highest.
I don't know. This is just a parabolic run, gap and go. Just have to look at the pre-market activity for your parameters. Eventually, it's going to hold one of these levels. 670.85 has been the high in the pre-market. Had a little spike down to 667.70. So if you guys can find any numbers on Apple besides that, please send them to me.
$700. That's my number on this stock. But obviously, there's always pullbacks. I don't just expect this thing to go 670 and be at $700 later today. There's always shakeouts. There's always pullbacks. When stocks have rallied this much, I mean, we were at 570 a month ago. Now we've gained on
Month
another
ago?
100 ticks.
Was it a month
It was a
ago?
month ago. A month ago.
Less than a month ago, we traded 570.36 on the poor earnings. So just about a month ago after the
I
poor
guess it's
earnings.
over a month ago. I guess I'm lying. It's been a little bit over a month, but
Less than a month. Less than a
has it been
month.
less? Yeah, maybe you're right. Less than a month. It's crazy,
July
man.
26th.
It's a crazy move, but money is looking for a home. There is still value here. This company makes a ridiculous amount of money. They've got a dividend now. It's attracting every investor that's out there. That pullback, everybody wanted to buy that pullback, and they're continuing to buy it. I still think you're going to see $700 on this thing, but it could be a little shaky along the way. But it's just flying right now. It's in favor. Let's talk about Google with this because Google often does trade. Google kind of led this rally of Apple. Google broke out a few days before Apple even did. But now in the last 4 or 5 days, Google has just kind of stalled. Despite Apple rallying $15, Google just hung out yesterday, didn't really do anything.
Yeah, you're getting at a very, very interesting level in Google here. This 670 level's been revisited a few times over the past couple years. Most recently in July of this year, 670 and a quarter. I believe it hit that level as a result of some earnings, pulled back from there. Also visited that level back in December of 2000, a little bit above that. You'd been at 700. And now you're getting up here. You're getting some tight ranges, making new highs, but still tight ranges. I'd be looking at this 670 level. There's really not a good number there. 672.76 was yesterday's low, 671.70. But if you're playing this close to the belt, you happen to pick this up under 570, you got 100 points going your way. Nothing wrong with taking a profit.
It has had a heck of a run here too. This is one these two stocks is trade. You'll have Apple leading the charge and its price is a little bit higher, but then Google just took a 40 or 50 point lead, but Apple's closed that now, and Apple's only 5 points behind Google now here again. So interesting trading between those two stocks. Facebook here, Peter Thiel dumping 20 million shares, the majority of his positions. What's your take here?
Well, you have to look his cost basis. I believe he invested $500,000 in this company, saw it right up, right
In
down. I mean,
2004, so he's
yeah,
up a
so
ridiculous amount of
yeah,
money.
he's up. He's taking a profit. Who knows? There may be some other venture capital deal that he's looking at. I don't put a lot of stock into these kind of sales just because they have such a ridiculously low cost basis. And really, no matter when they sell, they're going to be criticized. Obviously, I haven't been too accurate on the Facebook. It really hasn't cost me any money on in the pocketbook. But just looking at this chart formation we have here on the daily, if you could get a couple more days of just consolidation, hold that low that it made at 1875 and then break out above 20. You do have a double top here at 2008 and 2013. What I'd like to see is just another day or two of consolidation in the $19 range and then a break above that 2010, and I'll be buying the 25 calls.
Well, just looking from an intraday chart here, 1975 kind of had that whole double bottom thing going on yesterday. We're pulling back on the Peter Thiel sale to 1984. I'd like to see it hold that 1975 level and 9 cents away from there. So if it can hold there, if it starts to get below that level, it starts to have that vacuum area because we ran from that 1875 to 1975 so quickly. I mean, probably a little bit of short covering, a little bit of investors just trying to pick a bottom, and it starts to get a rally and people get interested and they get the ball rolling in a hurry. So it's tough to say here. I think this stock eventually is going to find a bottom, but where that is, I even tried to pick it. I thought that 1982 was going to hold, and it didn't hold either. So this has been a tricky one to pick a bottom.
Right,
Maybe we
right.
should stop picking bottoms.
But just one final note. You had this decline of the stock off the IPO, and then you had consolidation around the 26 and a half area, some tight ranges, and then you got to pop up to almost 34. I'm kind of looking for a similar pattern here, but you really would need a couple more days of consolidation
Right.
and then a breakout above
Validate that.
2010.
Right. So wait for the consolidation. Wait till you know that that bottom at least is in place temporarily, and then maybe make your move. That might be a better way to play it. Urban Outfitters. Here's one. Best Buy should take some notes or something from how to operate a retail store because 36.11 trading this morning. It's up almost 5 points after they reported earnings of 42 cents. That beat estimates of 33 cents, and the stock is off to the races.
Yeah, it hit 36.50 in the pre-market, so you can use that as a parameter. You have to go way, way far out to find some resistance in this. 39.26 was the high back in March of 2011, so I don't think we're going to see that today. Just keep an eye on the 36.50, and 36 has been holding in the pre-market. You get a break below there, and you got a lot of air in the stock, but I usually don't do too good picking tops or bottoms on retailers that are up $5 in the pre-market.
Yeah, these things, they're thinner. They can kind of move anywhere. I'd expect you're going to have at least a couple point range in the regular session, so it's always tricky. You can look at the whole numbers sometimes on these, but they're thinner and they're harder to trade for sure. When something moves up 5, it can move up 6, but a lot of times you start to give it back too. So these are tricky ones to call. Molly Corp, MCP, getting a downgrade at JP Morgan. Thanks a lot, JP Morgan. Stock is now at $9.69 after closing at $10.02. The stock just continues to disappoint.
Yeah, I have a recommendation for all these investment banks, JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley, Goldman Sachs, whoever, Stifel Nicholas. Get rid of your research department. I mean, just if you guys want to cut costs and probably save money, I just don't. I mean, I'd be embarrassed to put this kind of call out in this stock.
I mean, after the stocks went from $20 here a month and a half ago down to 9, now we're going to downgrade it.
Yeah,
a little late to the party.
Yeah, I'm baffled. I mean, that analyst should be giving that downgrade and packing his bags.
Well, maybe he thinks it's going. He must think it's going a lot lower. So
I'm going to buy it.
I'm going to buy it. I'm not buying it. You can buy it. Sold to you. I'm not buying that one. A lot of these financials here have been on a nice little run. They just kind of keep drifting higher, slowly drifting higher. Goldman Sachs moving up yesterday. Citigroup getting up over $30 here now, trading at 30.17. Got Bank America's getting up near some key resistance. What's your take on these financials?
First of all, Goldman Sachs is at a great level here. You had a high back a few days ago at 105.63. You kissed 105.50 yesterday, looking to fill a gap that stock had back in May. So I use this 105.50 as a swing area. If it can hold that, I think you got some room on the upside. After that, 110 looks like some major resistance. Citigroup trading at $3 here, trying to break. Oh, excuse me, $30. Yeah, $30. That coincides with the top that it had back in 29.97 back on May 11th. I'm sure there's some orders in the book here at the $30 level. We're trading it in the pre-market, trading above it. Yesterday's high, 29.98. So just going with the trend. If this holds $30, you got to play it to the upside.
Yeah, the $30 does have some sellers in the book, but it appears it's traded 93,000 shares up here above 30, so it looks like it should probably take them out at the open and possibly open over the $30 level. And it does start to open up. Even a stock like Morgan Stanley starting to get into an area where it wants to try to open up a bit here. 15 could be big on Morgan Stanley, though.
Yeah, and before we go to that Morgan Stanley, I just wanted to look real quick at Bankless of America here, coming up against some major resistance too. 18.19 was yesterday's high. You had a double top back, 8.19. Double top there back in at the end of June, 8.20, 8.21. Also, you had some highs there in back in May. So real big area here, 8.20. If it can get up above there, things are looking good for Bank America. Morgan Stanley, after making that new low under $13, the only thing you can really look at this is when it did get down to that 12.29 level. back in July, coincided with the
Double
double
bottom.
bottom. Yeah, yep. 12, I mean, those numbers work. And now you're right. $15 is looking huge. Bumping up against that in the pre-market. Boy, tight ranges though. If this thing can get above and hold 15, it's got some room to run.
Some of your European banks keep climbing the wall of worry here too. And Deutsche Bank trading up here again this morning, 33 and a quarter after closing 32.69. These stocks all kind of made that bottom back there just late July, and they've slowly been climbing ever since. We had some consolidation for most of August, but Deutsche Bank and some of the other European banks we'll get to in a second are just climbing up this wall of worry.
Yeah, didn't we write these stocks off for dead when this was
I
when
think we
this
were
thing
wrong
was
there.
yeah trading under $30? It did take out its prior low of the move, 28.57. It took that out by quite a bit in July. It went down to 27.03. So unless you're like a swing trader, it'd be pretty hard to take the heat on that. It looks like there's some resistance coming in at the $34 area. You have to remember, once again, this is an ADR. The primary exchange is away. So unless you really are just trading, holding this for a swing trade or whatever, the ARBs are going to eat you alive.
Barclays moving up here too, starting to get over that $12 area once again, trading 12.19. The high from the other day was 12.12, so we're above there. Are we going to keep marching here on the Barclays?
Boy, looking at the pre-market in Barclays, this stock has had a major run. You got to tick up briefly to 12.26, trading right up there. I guess as long as you hold this $12 level, you have to play it from the long side. 12.39 would be the next stopping point. That was the high on June 27th, and then things really open up to to 1282, which was the high on June
A
22nd.
little
Man,
gap
but
there.
this stock was what, 928 back on July 25th. So
Heck of a run.
big run.
Big run. Dell reports tonight here, Joel. What's going to happen with them? Are they going to pull a Best Buy, or are they going to pull an Urban Outfitters and rally here?
Wow, look at this! Look at this breakdown and consolidation. I think the breakdown was after the last earnings faux pas here. 1273 is a major resistance level. That coincides with the July 5th high. Yesterday you hit 1262. You had a 1284 high in May. I mean, this thing's got to break above 13, and you're off to the races.
Oh yeah, but who knows with these computers? Dell has been a dog here for a while. It's been look at what it did last earnings report when it reported. So kind of scary to come in and say that they're going to all of a sudden turn it around this quarter. I wouldn't want to be long it going into the earnings. What's your take on the overall market here?
It's just the creeper rally.
The
I
creeper
mean, what
rally, it
else
really
can you
is.
do? I mean, I wrote in the weekly outlook that, sure, you can try and pick a top, but it's not going to do anything for you. I'm keeping an eye on 14.1875. That was yesterday's high. That's the highest we've been in a long time. I mean, you're getting consolidation. You're getting tight ranges. I just looked today. The average daily range from the S&Ps has come down from 2022. We were talking about just a couple weeks ago that the 9-day average range is down to 12 and a half. Low volatility. When volatility kicks up, it's to the downside. But boy, this market is just not showing any sign of cracking. My big number to look at is still the 1410 level. Friday's low was 1410.75. They faked us out a little bit, went to 1409.50 yesterday. As long as you're holding 1410 on a closing basis, the compass is still pointing north.
Yeah, trend is your friend on that one. Well, that's our show for today, folks, and we'll be back with you guys tomorrow.